Okay, good morning. I'd like to call the Seneca County Commissioners meeting on November 4th, 2021 to order. We'll start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Schuff, prayer please.
Yes, thank you. Bow your heads. Dear Lord, please help give us guidance here today as we go to discuss property, personnel, finances here for the county. Please help us to have your divine wisdom guidance here as we make these decisions for our citizens and to do the best that we can for our residents here in Seneca County. And please help to uplift our spirits and help us to work together. Amen.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Kirschner, Commissioner Paradiso,
Here.
Commissioner Schuff.
Here.
Commissioner Kirschner has a radio face. He'll be joining us by video. Good morning.
I think you might be on mute.
Good morning.
There he is.
Good morning, everyone.
And I'll entertain a motion to accept the digital audio video recording of the previous board session from Thursday, October 21st. That's right, Nate?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll second the motion.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso,
Yes. Okay, so first thing on the agenda, we have Brett Cleveland here, and he's going to talk about issue 1. You're representing the townships. Also, here we have regional planning, Charlene. So, Brett, would you like to stand up here, please? Sorry to make you, but you got the camera on you, so thank you. Welcome.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thank you. Couple concerns I have with this year's program. Obviously, it's not going to get done because of the lateness. But on the contract, it has as a November 12th completion date. And when I took over this, that was a concern I had, that it needed to be the end
Give
of
us, please, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you give us a background of the context of your comments with the townships and your position with issue 1?
Okay.
Because you're the spokesperson.
I
Yeah.
am the spokesperson for the township project. All 15 townships participate in an issue 1 program to try to get a little better deal for each of the townships as a cooperating group. So the regional planning office is writing the grant, overseen by the commissioners, and I'm, I guess, the spokesperson. I just signed the paper. But
Where the rubber meets the road out the townships.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
So that was a concern, that it's getting too late. You don't know what the weather is going to be in November, and obviously it has changed, and we're not going to get this completed this year. So I would like to see that changed. I've been talking with Steve Bell from M&B, and he's very concerned about the lateness of that contract date. He said many of the other entities that they deal with are the end of July when the contract is completing, and he is getting it September 1st from us. So that needs to be changed. He said the one that he had, he said, well, the county engineer's office was one, that was in July, and then also Hancock County was in July. He said Sandusky County was a little bit later. He says it was the middle of August, and he says that's doable, but he says to get it in September, he says then he only got basically 2 months to get the project done. So we need to somehow get this contract bidded out quicker than what we are currently doing.
So 2 requests would be to get the application in, so M&B or
Whoever bids it, yes.
whoever bids it can get back to us in that same year, but the completion needs to be part of the contract. The completion date would need to be what, in your mind?
October 31st.
October 31st. Okay.
And then you need to, talking with Mark Zimmerman, we need to have in that contract that if it's not completed, there's repercussions. And he says, if you don't have it in the contract,
So there's no performance.
Right. If it's done after that, then whoever gets the contract needs to somehow stand behind that, so, when it's past that date. So,
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions?
no. That's just some things that I think that we need to change for this next one.
To help me out, you're a township trustee at Adams Township.
Correct.
And I've asked Stacy this, Charlene, and I'm still, just maybe help us out. Okay, so your role at Adams Township, on behalf of all 15 townships, is what?
I'm supposed to be like the overseer of this, but I kind of rely on the other townships to get a hold of us, that if there is a problem, that, we can
They
address
bring
it.
to you, and then you go to Charlene. Okay. You want to add anything to that?
Sure, I can. If you want me to. I actually,
Okay?
So-
Yeah, thank you.
so if you know me, you know that like I document everything in the entire world, right? And keep record of everything. So I do have a timeline, and I thought I'd just share it with you guys because it is a little freaky how it worked out this year. And I want to make sure that everybody has it. So let me copies for him. I'll put Mike's right here for him.
Thank you.
Go. Here you go, Frank. So just to let you know, this starts with when we were notified of when we should receive the award agreement. So OPWC told us April 21st that we should receive an award agreement July 1st. April 22nd, the commissioners approved us to put it out to bid. Bids were due May 13th. The legal notice went into the Advertiser Tribune on April 26th because you have that little time lag where you have to send it in, they edit, all the good stuff. May 13th, we received one bid package from M&B. On July 1st, I hadn't received anything, so I give it about a week. July 8th, I contacted our rep, Jotika, for District 16 to let her know that we hadn't received our agreement. And we kind of looked through to find out where the error was in receiving it. She told me to follow up with Donna at OPWC. That worked through 7/8 through 7/11. July 12th, I received a programmatic agreement from OPWC. It had errors. The email addresses were wrong, names were wrong, all kinds of stuff that they just hadn't corrected when we sent in corrections. We received the revised programmatic agreement. It was still wrong names and signers, so we requested corrections. July 13th to the 14th, they continued to work on the corrections. The 14th, they advised we should receive a digital report or the digital request. I sent that to Julie, Tony, and Brett, and Stacy to let them know that we should be receiving it, explain now everything's signed digitally. So OPWC switched how they send us programmatic agreements. They used to be sent via mail. Now they do everything virtually. It's all done through a portal and they send us everything. Julie forwarded me a notification that she received July 1st that I never received, so I followed up on that as well. On July 27th, I advised OPWC that we had not received any of the revised agreements. On the 28th, I received the corrected programmatic agreement. August 3rd, we sent it for programmatic agreement to the prosecutor's office for approval. So contracts, programmatic agreements go to the prosecutor's office for approval. We cannot just send it to the commissioners until the prosecutor reviews it. That's protocol here, so we have to do that. So we did do that. The 4th, we got it back. We sent it over, talked to Tony about it. A resolution had already been signed. Tony had authority to sign the programmatic agreement and all documents. Tony was where, Stacy was where. We signed the agreement and sent it back and it was digitally submitted. August 4th through August 19th, we tried to get the new system to send Julie and Brett the agreement. There's a glitch on the end of OPWC. It is not sending it to them. And I believe still to this date, it's not sending it to them. August 2nd through August 31st, I prepared the contract and required documents for contract protocol. So there's required documents that have to go into the contract that we have to obtain. Plus, we also have to create, review, and get it prepared for the auditor's office and the prosecutor's office. August 10th, we emailed the programmatic agreement to the auditors. August 12th, I got a hold of Steve Bell to let him know that we had the programmatic agreement. Contract's ready to sign. He came in the next day and signed. The 19th, talked to Brett to let him know that we received the contract award, that he had not received the contract award digitally. Followed up with Julie. She had not received it either. August 26th, we followed up on the certificate of funds. Those had been completed. We also followed up on supplemental appropriations, so we have to appropriate money so we can pay for things because now we have a contract award, right? Or a programmatic agreement. You can't award a contract until you have a programmatic agreement because you don't have any guaranteed money until you have a programmatic agreement. We followed up with Brett and Julie multiple times regarding getting the digital contract signed. We got a hold of Donna Kirkbride at OPWC. She said their IT person was on it. We submitted the contract with M&B to the county prosecutor's office on August 31st for contract protocol. On September 1st, we received approved contract package back from the prosecutors. Kylie advised me that it would not be able to go into the next days for signature, but we could do it on the 9th. So I sent the resolution over to Kylie on the 2nd. On the 9th, it went to the commissioners for approval. They signed the contract. They signed the notice of commencement, everything that's supposed to be signed. We sent the public notice of commencement to M&B on the 16th. On the 14th of September, we sent a notice to all townships that the contract had been signed. On the 30th, we spoke with Reed Township. They just wanted to know a status on their road and when it was going to be done, so we got that taken care of with them. Whew. October 8th, we sent townships, Brett, Tony, Stacy, a project timeline from M&B, proposed project completion dates. So we have a nice chart. M&B fills it out. Here's when we think we're going to get it done. So we're relying on the expert to tell us when they are or aren't. Brett asked me for some completion dates on the contract. We emailed that information to him. We received an email from Jolene. She said she couldn't open the attachment for the timeline, so we re-emailed it to her and she didn't have a problem. Talked to Brett about the contract, the 12th, the 14th. On the 14th, I emailed Brett a file sharing link through Dropbox so he could open the contract and have it for review. The contract is too big to send via email, so you have to do file share with it. Those of us who are used to sending these huge emails know we have to file share. The 19th, Kylie asked me to send the bid documentation over to Brett, which I did. The 26th, I follow up with Steve Bell regarding the project completion integrity of road structure because the weather changed so quick. I mean, we all know it was like constant rain and everything. Steve agreed the projects need extended due to the weather. I informed Steve I'd request the extension. This all happened like 27th, 28th. The 28th, he sent me a revised proposal. OPWC confirmed the extension of round 35 to November 12th of 2022. We made sure that everything was in line for that. Revised project timeline that he sent me was sent to townships. And then November 1st, we sent an email notification to the townships, Brett, Tony, and Stacy, letting know the project will be completed and extended in 2022. Sent the contract amendment over to Kylie on November 1st. And then yesterday, I was actually on the phone with the townships that haven't been completed to let them know that you're going to be completed next year. And Julie and I are working through whether or not we're paying the ones that are completed this year, paying them this year, or if we're paying them next year. So our holdup was basically we didn't get the programmatic agreement from OPWC. So we couldn't award a contract until you get the programmatic agreement.
So, Brett, do you have any initial comments?
Well, you knew it was rewarded. Why can't the contract be ready to go instead of waiting till it was, I mean, in August, you said you didn't do the contract until that. Why can't it be done in September when the bid was done?
Well, the contract portion was ready. There's all the documents have to go with it, and they have to be current documents as of the grant award agreement. So I can't put together documents without a grant award agreement to certify funds that have to go with the contract protocol until we have a grant award agreement. I can't do insurance information that's required until we have a grant agreement because it has to be as of the dates of the grant agreement.
I'm just trying to figure out how Mark Zimmerman got this done in July, and Hancock County got this done in July, and Sandusky County got this done in the middle of August, and it takes us till September to get this done.
They may have
And then
received
as far
their
as I'm
award.
concerned on paying, I don't think M&B should be paid till the completion of the whole project. They didn't get it done, they don't get the money. Because according to this OWC contract, it's a project, and the project is not done. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I was just looking at this where you have 7/8. Okay, if that could have been moved, so. we
It would have been a
received
week
notice that
earlier.
we got, back in April, we know we got the money, we know we're gonna do it. So that July piece, if that could have started in April or May, it would have worked, but in this case, and I'm going to you, how can everybody else's computer work, and evidently theirs didn't? You were having issues linking up with them.
Yeah, they
I
just
know they
didn't.
did go to a new software package.
Yeah,
but
and they just didn't have the right contact information, and
I
it seemed
think
it
that's
took
where
forever
it
for
comes.
them to get
I
in
think you
there.
gotta start that process at the same time, so that September ends up
I
dropping
mean,
down to
once the
July.
grant's rewarded, you know you got it. So I would think some of this stuff could be done ahead of time.
We just didn't get the agreement till July, which is, in my mind, why don't we get the agreement in May? So-
And we still
That's
have, and to this
OPWC's
day, I
fault.
still haven't signed that agreement.
Yeah, but you still haven't gotten it because it's on their IT end, and it won't go through to Julie or Brett.
Well, to move on from this topic, if that's okay with you guys, so takeaways from this is everyone's frustrated that everything's moved so far back, we're running into weather. I know we have one road, I think it's out in Thompson, that was actually paved under poor conditions, and they're having issues with it. So we can't do much for this year, so I'm glad everybody brought it up. I don't know if you have any comments that you want to add, or Commissioner Kirschner wants to add. But I think next year, the portal's fixed, and I think we gotta get started on it.
If the portal was working properly, we would have had the grant agreement July 1st, then been able to move through starting in July.
You know,
We didn't have it. If we don't have the grant agreement, we can't. And like with any other project, I'm not gonna ask for a contract until we have a grant agreement.
Commissioner Paradiso, may I?
Yeah,
say something?
please, yeah.
Well, I just want to emphasize Brett's point, Sandusky County, Hancock County, and the surrounding areas had exactly the same procedures that we had. How is it that they were able to manipulate through all the process and get theirs done in a timely fashion, and we're not?
Yeah, and it all comes
I mean,
back to the
they had-
errors in the
They
system.
had the same portal, they had the same communication process, yet they were done, and we lagged.
And it's all because they put the wrong email addresses into their portal. And we got those corrected as quick as we possibly could because we didn't know they put the wrong email addresses in until after July 1st. So once we figured that, and Tony and Stacy were completely aware because I was emailing them, telling them all about it.
Well, I
But the
think,
one question I have is, I've done this for 5 or 6 years, my email's not changed. And, I mean, you've done it for a couple of years,
Yeah,
and your
3
email
months.
has not changed, so how did the emails get messed up?
Don't know. It's not on our end. All I did was send them I kept sending them, these are the emails, these are the emails, these are the emails.
so to your
So,
point,
input
we
it.
need a rock-solid contract with an end date of October 31st. We need some performance language in there if they're unable to do it. And so we will involve you, the townships, and
Derek to make sure that that's in there.
Eric to do that. And
And the job needs to be
everybody's
completed
busy,
correctly.
so we want to try to get multiple bids, and we want to get this thing out. That might help too, get it out earlier. Anybody else want to add anything? Thank you.
Yep.
Right, good? Paul? Very good? Okay, we'll move on. Stacy, administrator's report. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Let's see, I guess the only thing I've got this morning, we did have our 1 o'clock set to go over budgets. Nobody has scheduled, so the only thing I had on for the 1 o'clock would be to us talk about capital projects, which, so if you guys don't mind, we can do that like after we get our business done. We
Keep
can
it
start
part of the
having.
same meeting.
Yeah, instead of
Okay.
having to come back at 1 o'clock just for us, if we could just, get
Okay.
the rest of the meeting done and then we could do ours just, we'll still be in session, anybody can stay and join, but I figured we could just move that up since nobody else was coming in at 1.
You okay with that, Commissioner?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good?
And so the only thing I have, I'll just give you an update on where we're at. End of numbers as of October. Our revenue collected in October was $1,181,507.29. For total current year so far is $16,599,508. On our expense side, just the month of October, we did $1,704,256.81. Total so far this year is $15,932,395.35. So that's where we're at as of the end of October.
This was a big increase. Was that the airport? That's something we
Airport
talked
actually
about?
will go into the capital projects, so that is no longer in our general fund. That always usually gave us a false number
Yeah.
because we calculated it as revenue in the general fund. So the auditor's office asked if we would mind changing that and putting it into 15, since usually all it is a capital project. So the airport money is no longer in general fund, so these numbers don't include general fund. They're all in the capital projects funds.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, Commissioner, just one note,
Yeah.
if we annualize the 1.65 million, the anticipated year end would be 19.8 million.
I think you and I might have done that once.
Yes, yes.
Commissioner
just-
Kirschner, thank you. So at this point, we're certified for 19, going into next year.
Oh, for next year, you mean?
And so that's what we have to work with, 19 million. Anything else, Commissioner Kirschner?
No, sir.
Commissioner reports?
Yeah, that's
You good?
good.
Okay. Tyler?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. So, we have a Seneca County sweep coming up here for our last village. It'll be in Bettsville. So we made it all the way around the county. Started clockwise, went around, hit all the villages, but our last one will be in Bettsville. That'll be November 12th at 2 o'clock. Just want to thank all of our partners in this. Winway Solutions, want to thank the Ariana House, Crossway, the Sheriff's Department, all the volunteers, everybody that comes out from the villages. It's really nice. The last one we had in New Riggle, actually the mayor came out, brought his tractor down. We're cleaning up curbs, sidewalks, storefronts. I'm still trying to calculate the total amount of roll-offs that we've had, the bags, the volunteers. So I'm working on those numbers, but it's been a great program here the first year, and I'm looking forward to carrying it on here for the next year. So thank you to everybody that came out and helped with that. Also, worked for the Board of Elections here on Tuesday. We just had an election. Congratulations to everybody that won and is going to be in public service here in the near future. It was nice to see the process. Every time there's an election, if I'm not on the ballot, I like to go down there and work at the Board of Elections, but it's nice to see the transformation where we were 10 years ago compared to now. I know the state we had some issues to address here in the beginning. Where we're at now, we went from being the problem child to the poster child. So with us airing the results, with us going and streaming it live, and a big thank you to Jimmy Flint and what he does. It's nice to see the turnaround. Thank you for the volunteers, the Board of Elections workers, and it's nice to see that transformation where everybody's working together and just things run a lot smoother than what they used to. Also, we have an EMS meeting tonight, so we'll see how that goes. I'm just hoping everybody goes into it with a open mind and just collaboration type mindset. So that's all I have for now.
Good, thank you. Two quick things, announcements. Hats off to Bettsville. They received a $500,000 EPA grant. Remember, the mayor was in here and they brought people, it was a big deal for them. And I'm really excited that they got the answer so quickly and that they were awarded the full amount, so that's huge for Bettsville. We have a broadband meeting coming up next week. We have 7 proposals that have come in for the countywide study, so we're pretty excited about the number of proposals, but the quality of proposals. So the committee will be meeting to try to narrow those down. In the end, one will be chosen, and then we'll bring that back to the commissioners for discussion and ultimately discussion, and then hopefully approval to pay for the study. So that's moving along well. That's all I have. In old business, just a reminder, I'll yield to you, Stacy. There's no board meeting next week for Veterans Day. Is there anything else you want to add to that?
Correct. Because 11th is Veterans Day. Obviously, we're not having board and our offices are closed. The Commissioner's office will be closed on Friday the 12th in observance of the Juneteenth holiday that we did not get to observe then. So we made it a floating holiday for the remainder of the year, and we've chose to honor that on the 12th. So our office will be closed on the 11th and the 12th.
Yeah, Commissioner Kirshner, you're aware Veterans Dinner is Wednesday night, the 10th. So, yep, good.
I am, I will be there.
Yeah, awesome. I know you've never missed, so you either.
And
Yeah,
Betsy
so
will
that's
be
something
there.
we look forward to. There'll be Veteran of the Year and Veterans Dinner out at the AMVETS on the 10th, so we'll be there. All 3 of us will be there.
And
Jimmy?
You should have a proclamation. I don't know if Kylie gave that to you to sign yet, but it's ready to go for our Veteran of the Year, Mr.
I'm
Knight.
expecting one. I haven't seen it yet, but it's down there at the
We
end,
put
so
your digital
good.
signatures on it. I don't know if any of you
Yeah,
want
that's,
to read these.
we're really looking forward to that.
I'll tell you that.
Stacy, while we pass those down, you want to jump into new business?
Sure. Let's see. I don't know if you guys wanted to read those or just wait and present them.
We'll circle back. Go ahead.
Okay, all right.
Keep talking.
Let's see. Make sure I got them open here. So I have a supplemental appropriation request from Job and Family Services. Need to put an additional $185,000 into contract services, an additional $32,000 in the WIA shared cost line. These are additional contracts, new contracts, additional money needed for the reimbursement cost to the PA fund. I have a request from Job and Family Services, additional money needed for Patchworks, $100,000 into their contract service line. I have a request from the auditor's office for an increase in their advertising line of $4,200 over the last year. Last year we had to supplement it too. Costs have just gone up for their advertising for the real estate. And we had the same thing happen last year, that they needed additional money, and again this year they've upped it yet again. We do get all these monies back into the general fund when the real estate's collected, so she just needed some additional money. She's gonna add that to her.
These aren't necessarily delinquent. They're just notices that need to be sent out.
Notices, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Then I have another appropriation adjustment from Job and Family Services, moving $100,000 from the Children's Services share cost to, must be their other line. It looks like they're doing from their shared cost line to their other expense line. I have another request from Job and Family Services, appropriation adjustment, moving a total of $60,200 They're moving it, a portion of it from the PRS line, advertising, salaries, expenses, supplies and hospitalization, onto their contract services line. And I have a request from our office. This is for the airport, that $45,000 for his crack filling that we approved, not last week, the week before when he was in. If you remember, 43,000 of that will be coming from CARES money for the airport, so get that money put in place.
So that fund's zeroed out now? Would that be?
Yep, we'll spend the full 43 on that, an additional 2,000
Okay, the
from
difference.
us, yep.
Does the difference come out of the general fund or the
Yes.
airport fund? The
General
airport
fund.
General
General
fund.
fund,
Okay,
yeah.
got it, thank you.
Yep. Resolution authorizing a fund advance from the general fund to the Comprehensive Opioid Abuse Program Fund, asking for an advance of $10,000. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance repayment from the county sales tax bond retirement fund to the general fund. We did this at the last board session because they had to do one paper check, and we were worried we might not get it in time for our bond payment to be made. It came like the next,
Yeah.
So we're doing the payment, advance repayment for the $44,398.60 back to the general fund. I have a resolution authorizing a fund advance from the general fund to the capital projects fund. This is for the airport drainage project. Since we are paying for it out of the capital improvement, and that grant is a reimbursement, it's 100% reimbursement. We probably won't get the reimbursement till 2022, so we need the cash in the capital projects fund, so we need to just do an advance. Once that comes in, we can transfer the advance back to the general fund.
So, our capital fund now has about 800,000 in it.
I think so. I don't have that
So
report.
is this is,
This will add the cash
yeah.
Yep.
Actually put the cash.
to pay that, yep.
I got it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
Yep.
with you. Mr. Brian Ball, I'm asking questions. He came up to me after the meeting, he goes, I like when you ask questions. I'm learning. So.
I understand it better when you
Yeah,
do
thank
that.
you. And I'm not making they're real questions. Okay.
And I'm just,
And-
it's in my head and I
Okay.
don't think of what all to
But
explain.
I get it. Yeah, okay.
I have a resolution establishing the Opportunity Park Improvements Fund. We had a grant from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. So we're getting that in place. That's for the Opportunity Park, the playground equipment, different things that they're doing out there. Getting the fund set up so they can get that moving. I have a resolution establishing the fiscal year 2022 STEP Fund, Fund number 1097. I have a resolution establishing the 2022 IDEP Fund, and you're gonna ask me what the IDEP
I was
stands
just
for.
wondering.
Mr. Shuffle's gonna ask you that.
Nope, I don't
That's
know
no,
if, Kylie, did you?
1074.
I don't know if it'll show me the description either. Was it on the,
Board folder,
what's that?
in the board folder, whatever the auditor's office sent me, I put it
Okay.
in the board folder.
Let me look. Yeah, we usually try to put those on the.
I know TSEP, I don't know
What was
IDEP.
it? 1074.
Yep, 1074. So November,
Yeah,
did you find it?
Yeah, but there it is. Oh, it's not opening.
Computer's slow.
Yeah. We'll try to make sure those get on
Is
the,
it impaired driving enforcement
probably.
program?
There you go, Jimmy.
Ding, ding,
Somebody
ding.
pays attention.
Well, we're just setting the
Drop
fund
the
up.
drop, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not putting any money in
Yeah.
it, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah, yep.
Good one, Jenny.
When,
I try to stay quiet.
I'd like to phone a
I was
friend.
getting-
phone a friend, yeah.
Did you get that, Commissioner Kirschner?
I could call the auditor's office, phone a friend. I have a resolution entering into contract with the Village of Bettsville on behalf of the Seneca County Sheriff. I think their contract had expired, so they're looking to do this again. Let me see what the amount is. The village shall pay the sheriff's office costs of policing, sum of $73,661.81 per year. And they're going to do, I think, 40 hours a week. And then every year it goes up by 3%.
They pay that for law enforcement coverage.
Yep, because they I don't know what the word is, disbanded there, and so,
Village, yeah, they got rid of the.
yep,
Does that go into the sheriff's fund then, or does it go directly to
it'll go general fund,
general
Yeah.
first? Okay, thank you.
which in turn will pay for the employee that's doing it.
Do we asterisk that when we look at his sheriff's budget? Do we know, I mean, I get the jail revenue piece, but that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm,
I think you
yeah.
kind of summarized
Yeah.
it for us.
And some of those probably get paid into like a miscellaneous account, so I can run a detailed revenue report that shows where those,
You know,
Exactly,
and the
get
key
paid
would be
in.
like if we always got it, you know, we
Mhm.
can't spend it twice. So if we've received it in the past, that'd be great. And
Right.
if there's any new money like this, I think personally, I would take that in consideration, looking at the
yeah.
sheriff's
And this
budget.
isn't a new one, this is just a,
Right.
an additional one, because we've been doing
So
Bettsville
if
for
we've
a
been
while.
doing it,
Yep.
then we can't, it's baked in.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
Is that a reasonable thing to ask for?
yeah, like I said, he's done that contract, or Echoberry had that contract for a couple
But
years.
there's
We
other
have,
things where he gets paid back
yep,
that, okay.
yep.
Are there any
That's-
other villages that we have contracts with similar to that?
We have New Regal and Attica, I think.
And Republic still does their own.
Yep. I think those are the only two we have contracts with,
Yeah, that's a good question there.
so.
Okay, thanks.
I have a resolution accepting the proposal to amend the contract between the Seneca County Board of Commissioners and M&B Asphalt for the Issue 1, Round 35, Seneca Township Road Reconstruction Program. The extension date is May 28th, 2020. No, 2022. We're going back a year. 2022, sorry. I have a resolution authorizing an amendment to the joint use agreement for the Justice Center between the City of Tiffin and the county, pending city's approval. I think they've had 2 readings on this.
They passed it under emergency on Monday.
Oh, did they? Okay, I
Um,
hadn't got it back yet.
What? Actually, you know what? No, there was one member that was absent. I think it, actually, you know what?
They might have,
There was one no vote, the rest voted yes. I don't, yeah.
Okay.
Hold off on that.
okay. So we just did it pending city's approval, because Brent said he was gonna do us at least
Well,
the
so-
second reading on Monday. And I said, well, we'll probably, you guys had seen this prior to me even sending it to Brent Howard. Basically, what we're doing is, this is gonna be a set lease amount for municipal court for the second floor at the Justice Center. What was in the contract before was a little cumbersome, and obviously, the amounts always change based on utilities, based on repairs, and, you know, the city was like, we never know what to budget for that, and, you know, most of the time, it has increased. So Brent and Derek kind of worked it out. They had agreed to the payment for 2020, and that was $102,207.77. So after that, we are going to go with they were okay with that number, so we're gonna do an annual increase of 3%. So 2021 will be $105,274, and then 2022 will be $432.22. There's a caveat that after these 3 years that, you know, we'll reevaluate the utilities and stuff to make sure. But this way they know exactly what their budget is, and they don't have to worry about us going, yeah. We'll still supply them with the detail of the payments for the Justice Center. It's just they would like to have it set and,
Well, we've got a good history now,
exactly.
having been there 4 years.
Yep. Yep, and then
No, I
it's
think it's good.
just set, usually we have to do in February, we have to do a true out, and those were usually just a lot of meetings, and we'd have to go through each and every detail, which we were okay with doing, but
So is this 3 years starting 2020?
they did, yes, they agreed to the 2020 amount, so it'll
Is that
be
year one?
2021 and 2022.
Okay.
So they'll pay us the
Only have one more
105,
year, we're gonna redo it.
yep,
Okay.
basically. I think, well, let me see, this doesn't have an automatic
Kind of what it
renewal.
sounded like, but it could be, it could start 2021, maybe they use that number for the basis of the starting point.
Yeah,
In 2021.
increased.
Um,
Yep, nope, it'll be reviewed again.
Yeah, okay, one more year,
Yep.
got it.
And then I have resolution authorizing an agreement with the city of Tiffin on behalf of the Seneca County Sheriff's Office. This is for the fuel that he has asked for. I think the city's already signed it, so, I think you guys talked about it when he was in here for his budget request. And I think that's the last one I have.
Um, Any comments? Your point?
No.
Commissioner Kirschner, any comments?
Well, the only one that I would revisit, I guess, is the issue one problem from the beginning. Does memory serve me correctly, Stacy, but didn't we have the same concern a couple of years ago as it relates to
We'll vote on this.
later submission of the projects that we would have liked and didn't get some projects completed because of weather?
I'd have to pull up information from before, but this is, I think, what they were talking about this morning, because we got the late submission, the late contract, we had to extend it. I don't know if we've ever had to extend it into the,
I don't know if I had
Following
to
it.
extend it. I know in 2020 during COVID, was it 2020? OPWC was like very lagging because they were not in the office, so it took longer to do things.
but the project was still completed within
Yeah.
that year. Okay,
Yes.
Okay, I just remember having this discussion in the near past.
yep.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so, thank you, Commissioner. I'll entertain a motion to accept the new business appropriations
As presented.
as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second that.
Commissioner Schuff,
Yes.
Commissioner Paradiso.
Yes. And Jimmy, before we open up for public comment, I had one other thought that I want to bring out. We had an investment committee meeting this week, I don't remember the exact date, and was really happy with the progress and the way things are coming together with the investment committee. Our treasurer, Paul Harrison's worked really hard, and basically we had one account with $33 million in it, and it was costing us money. And so we've been documented, we entertain RFPs from other banks. They're working hard on it, things are being transferred. We're now making money on our checking account, we're moving some money. I think it was a very good meeting.
Okay, so those fees are gonna go,
These are going away.
okay, cause
Yeah.
I think he's appropriated the same $45,000 for fees for 2022 as he did in 2021.
Yeah, so we have to look at the fees and then look at the interest income, because there'll be a swing, and it's not overnight, but it's happening. I would think by next year we should have,
Okay.
he'd be able to tell you what that is.
Okay,
But you have spent a lot of work, I give him a lot of credit, and we had a lot of good questions. And I just want to bring that up to everybody
Paul's online, actually.
that we're working at. Paul, you want to add anything?
Thank you, Paul.
He may not be able to unmute for a second.
Um,
Could try now if you're with us, Paul.
Can you want to say anything, Paul?
I see he's unmuted.
Okay, well, we'll open it up to general comment, and Paul wants to jump in, he can. Okay, Jimmy, you know the routine.
Yep. If you want to speak during public comment, you come forward now. I don't know, Stace, if you will have to allow the video. I don't have that as an option.
Okay.
So,
Yep, I just enabled it.
go. I don't see anything in chat, but go ahead and come forward if you want to speak now.
I have a couple things.
Sure, Charlene.
Hi. So Charlene from Regional Planning, not that you didn't hear enough from me already, but I just wanted to give you a couple updates, and my notes are on my phone, so it makes it a little easier. Talking about what Tony said earlier about the village of Bettsville, I actually talked to their village administrator yesterday, and just wanted to give you a little insight on that project. It's a $594,000 project. They received $500,000 in a grant, so they won't even have to get a loan to do the rest of the project, and it's for their sewer district. They worked with Pokemeyer Design Group, who's going to be their engineer, and Pokemeyer actually applied for 80 different entities, and the village of Bettsville was the only one to get the award.
I did not know that.
So we want to make sure to congratulate them and really talk to them about their project and be involved, and make sure they continue great things over there. And props to my hometown, just so everybody knows. So we're really happy about that. We thought it was wonderful. We had a couple questions about it from citizens, and we got some information from the village administrator, and we're able to share that. Then just to give you a little insight, Regional Planning had a pretty exciting month in October. In the course of basically a Thursday to a Tuesday, we received notification of 4 grant awards. So we received 2 grants from the Office of Criminal Justice Services, the CDBG 2021 grant agreement, which we will do in 2022, which was for $158,000, and then we received the ODNR grant agreement for the Opportunity Park for $196,000. So in total, we had over $384,000 in grant awards in about 4-day period. So we were pretty excited about that. We sent notification to our board. I believe Stacy was included in it. Sometimes I let her know those fun things. And when you call and you're like, well, what's going on? That's what's going on. We have a lot of work to set up for those projects, and those CJS grants have a very quick turnaround on them, so we can do reimbursements. So that tends to be where we're at. But I just want to give everybody a nice little quick update on that. We had a multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan meeting with the team, figured out our reporting process, and our next steps in regional planning will be to meet with the county to talk about the county's portion of it, and we'll be doing that at the beginning of 2022. So, any questions for us?
Can we get a grant to get the Bettsville quarry back open?
No.
That was a quick one.
Jimmy, anybody
Sorry.
else? Paul, are you on the line? Paul
I
Harrison?
saw him a second
He just
ago.
popped up, actually.
I don't know if there's a audio issue
If
on
not,
his end.
we'll catch him next time.
I had a request here written to me on Tuesday when I was working with the Board of Elections. So as we were watching the totals come in and the tallies come in for the votes, I received a request from Nancy Grandillo. And this is written and I'll put it on file, but request to remove license plate frames advertising Reineke Ford from county vehicles. That's dated 11/2 of 2021. I explained to her that we buy our vehicles here locally. We don't just go to one dealership. We support all the local dealerships, or try to. But that was her request, is to remove all of the license plate.
Commissioner Ferguson, can I ask a question about that?
Yeah, sure.
Do we buy vehicles from other local dealerships?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so would we have a
Yeah,
cop's motor tag on?
do-
Okay.
Yeah, we allow those license plate tags to appear on those vehicles from other dealerships?
You don't take them off, John,
Yeah,
right?
so there would be a Ballman or a
I
Coppice
mean,
or whatever. Okay.
I have to say that I think this is partisanship at its worst here. The fact that the Reineke family owns a dealership and the fact that Bill Reineke is a state senator are completely different issues. They are in a competitive bid whenever we purchase vehicles. We display the plates of any dealership that wishes to put them on, if they are the dealership from which we bought the vehicles. And to, call out a name that happens to be a state senator, but the dealership, again, has absolutely no relationship as far as it relates to being a government official. So I think this is just very petty, and I would say that if we allow all dealerships to put their plate on the back of the car, then we should continue that. It's proof positive that the county buys locally and supports its local businesses.
It's the way to look at it.
Yeah, I'm glad that we shop local here. We don't have to go out of town. We've got multiple great dealerships here in the area, and we spread the business pretty fairly throughout that group. So,
Yeah. So
she was very upset that that person had an R by their name, or I took the request, and
yeah, you
glad we shop local.
So to your point, Commissioner Kirchner, we just take no action on that, and John will continue to display where you buy the car from, right?
And we've bought cars from all three of the dealerships in town here
I know
throughout
we really try to
multiple
balance that out.
times. We do.
Okay, good. Thank you. So I would like to have you, Commissioner, read either in the entirety or abbreviate, I'll leave that up to you, our veteran, since we won't be meeting next week of the year, and then I have one after that, and then Stacy, we go right into our, do we
Yep.
need a recess, or we'll just go right into,
Unless you need,
we don't need one, so
I'm gonna refill my coffee.
you're on deck, okay? Give you time to get ready.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner.
Yes, have a proclamation here from the Seneca County Commissioners. Whereas Michael Nye of Fostoria was chosen by the Seneca County Veterans Services Office as of 2021 Veteran of the Year, and whereas Nye served our nation during the Vietnam War as a United Army service member from 1970 to 1972, and whereas even after Nye's military service, he has been a friend and servant to his fellow veterans and his community members. Nye has been a post member for 49 years at the New Regal American Legion post number 354, including service as 8-time post commander. And whereas Nye has given back to his community through his service in countless ways, including his work coaching Little League, Pony League, Babe Ruth League, and high school baseball, and also by helping to set up the Christmas trees at the Good Shepherd Nursing Home, among countless other community service efforts. And whereas the Seneca County Board of Commissioners is proud and honored to recognize Mr. Michael Nye as the 2021 Seneca County Veteran of the Year. And he has more than earned his community's appreciation through his service in the U.S. Army and throughout Seneca County. Therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Seneca County, Ohio, recognizes Michael Nye of Fostoria as the 2021 Seneca County Veteran of the Year, and is urged and recognized to show appreciation for this local veteran and hero. Michael Nye, 2021 Seneca County Veteran of the Year. In witness thereof, we, the Seneca County Board of Commissioners, have hereunto set the hand to this proclamation this 4th day of November in the year of our Lord, 2021. Commissioners Mike Kirchner, Anthony Paradiso, and Tyler Schuff. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Nye, Mr. Schuff, you do a nice job of reading those proclamations, so I'll let you know that. So
Thank you.
I'll make an attempt. We have a second proclamation. Whereas former Seneca County Commissioner Dale Stacy died on Sunday, October 17, 2021, at the age of 96. Whereas Stacy served as a member of Seneca County Board of Commissioners from 1966 to 1982, but also was involved in many other community agencies, including the local Republican Party and the Seneca County Board of Elections. And whereas Stacy was an institution in the community, especially through his involvement in all things related to agriculture. He earned his state farmer's degree through FFA before he graduated from Old Fort High School in 1942. Stacy was named Outstanding Young Farmer in Seneca County and helped organize the local Dairy Herd Improvement Association and Jersey Breeders. He served as president of the Ohio Jersey Breeders and was active in Farm Bureau and served as president of the Seneca County Junior Fair Foundation. Whereas Stacy was a respected community servant, not only in Seneca County, but especially in the Old Fort area, where he served in the Old Fort Elevator Board, the Old Fort Community Grange, and master for the Seneca County, I can never say it, Grange, and was founding member of the Lions Club. Whereas the Seneca County Board of Commissioners is proud to recognize the late Dale Stacy, who was a proud public servant and who helped to make our community a better place. Whereas, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners, Seneca County, Ohio, recognize the former Seneca County Commissioner, Dale Stacy, for leading a full life of service, and it urges all to recognize and show appreciation for a former commissioner who had a positive impact on Seneca County. In recognition of former Commissioner Dale Stacy, in witness thereof, we, the Board of Seneca County Commissioners, have hereunto set our hand to this proclamation, the 4th day of November, in the year of our Lord, 2021. Mike Kirshner, Anthony Paradiso, and Tyler Schuff. What a guy. So.
That's wonderful. I just might add one thing, Tony, and that is that I think it's probably the only family in Seneca County history that's had 3 generations as commissioners. The latest of which was Holly. And you know, they all did such a great job, and you know, it's kind of an historical moment.
Your years
all
over there.
all the accomplishments in Dale, plus the fact that they had 3 generations of county commissioners and their family.
Yeah, his father, Clyde, was a Seneca County Commissioner, but his daughter is also a commissioner in Wood County, right? So,
Yeah.
and then, you know, Stacy, and it's great.
Is it Herring-
Doug's the
Herringshaw?
trustee.
Herringshaw?
Yeah.
So, with that, we'll, it's not on this agenda, it's on our 1 o'clock agenda. We're gonna just continue on, and we'll talk a little bit about our Commissioner Capital Improvement. We're gonna have a discussion. We have Stacy leading that, and John Loxton, our maintenance director, here,
Tony.
so.
Tony,
Yeah.
can you guys hear Paul Harrison?
You're back, yeah.
Hi, Paul.
Hi,
I finally
Paul.
found the right button to click. I think I'm on, so.
Would you like to comment on the investment committee and what you're doing? Or do you have something else to say?
I had something else to say?
Okay. Go ahead and do that, and we'll keep going.
No, I don't have anything else to say. I think there was a question about the budget from Stacy on the 45,000.
Oh, yeah, he just mentioned that you had got some banking things,
Reducing our fees.
reducing our
banking
fees.
Right.
I can't hear either.
Yeah, and quite frankly, the note that I put on that budget was the fact that I felt like we needed another year to calculate savings, but obviously, if we don't need it, we won't use it, so.
Right, absolutely.
Is that okay?
I don't know what, I guess I felt a little uneasy not putting something in there, and it should be considerably lower than the 45,000 for this next year, so.
No, absolutely,
Paul,
I agree.
I will add, I appreciate the fiscal responsibility here. You know, I know that you're real concerned about the fact that instead of actually receiving interest, as we have been used to in years past, we were actually getting a net charge on the deposits. Looks like that's going to go away, and thank you for your attention to detail there.
It's turning into a nightmare. I can tell you that.
Well, the taxpayers appreciate it.
It's all gonna be worth it in the end, and I'm hoping by the end of the year, we'll have everything switched over, and then we can not only avoid service charges, but also start enjoying some interest as well.
Good. Thanks, Paul, for coming on.
Yep.
Stace.
Do you want us to keep going? You wanted to jump out and get some more coffee?
I'm gonna refill my water, my coffee.
We'll take a 3-minute recess. Is that okay? 3-minute recess, Commissioner Kirschner. Jimmy, you want to keep the tape rolling, or do we?
Yeah, we need to keep it rolling.
We
We'll
can keep
just
the tape rolling.
put it on
and-
mute.
Go ahead, Commissioner. And I may join you. Okay, we'll continue on with discussion of our capital projects. Stacy.
Sure. John's gonna help me too. So we have updated our list that was actually started, oh geez, that was when Tanya Hemmer was still my assistant. So I think I emailed it to you guys yesterday. So just going through a few things. There's some little projects on here that we've just had on here for a while that obviously are not a priority. You know, they had landscaping on our list, some key fobs, some upgrading of our LED lighting. I think that's on most of the buildings, which if we decide to move forward with the requests for qualifications we had on doing energy improvements, having them come in and do an audit, that would probably help with all of the upgrade and LED lighting that we've got listed for all the buildings. I know John has actually already started doing some, because instead of replacing old with old, he's upgrading from, you know, the old to new.
As we go.
We had put, I've got vehicles for fleet. We actually did get a couple vehicles this year. We had gotten a Jeep from Coppice. And we also had obtained a vehicle from the youth center. The youth center bought a car a couple of years ago, and just as many kids as they've had, the vehicle wasn't being used. I think it had like 3,000 miles on it.
They bought a van or something.
So they bought a
Yeah, I
van to
knew
help,
that.
and so we basically paid them a fee for the car instead of them trading it in.
It's like
So,
brand new.
yeah,
Nice.
yep. I think David Kale used it for the elections on Tuesday, and he said it was nice.
What,
And
what kind of license plate bracket do they have on the back?
Uncle Mike's,
Very quick.
old, retired Uncle Mike's.
yeah. Okay, so we had a tractor for John on our list for 2021, which was some of our fleet, some of the other things that we did.
Is
That
yellow, help me out, is that
the yellow were kind of the ones that
your priority list?
kind of John and I went
The ones you
over.
wanna, okay,
Yep.
keep going as I look
Yep.
at these.
Yep.
Okay.
So tractor was on for this year that we didn't get purchased. We just had other projects going on, so that's obviously the tractor is I think nickeling and diming John to death for the last,
It's used year round.
yeah.
We do, that's our major lawnmower for out south. All the property you see out there, and we keep the yards up pretty nice. And so about 30 hours a week of mowing, and then instantly we change it over. We put a cab on it, put a broom on the front, and that's what we do the sidewalks downtown here with during the winter. It's better than plowing. It's just something that we do, and it's wearing out. And when it goes, I gotta have something right away. You know, I'll be leasing something, and to avoid that, I'd like to get it ordered, because it will take time to get it in. They don't have them sitting on the floor anymore.
Okay, we'll move into the RTA. Some of the things we've had on our list for a while is, windows and facade replacement potentially. Obviously, there's been some discussion about, doing something with East Tower potentially, so some of these RTA wouldn't necessarily be done if that is considered a long-term project. But so we did not get a quote for windows and facade. I think John and I just threw in an amount, just him dealing with numbers. That's what we put in. So the painting and sealing the building, of course, is the same. We have some water filtration issues. Flooring and painting, that's all, I don't want to say original, but it would be original to us when we purchased it and did the renovations from the bank. So that's on our list. Some restroom and break room ADA compliance. That may be something CDBG may be able to help us out with. Not necessarily a priority, just on our list.
Are they not handicap accessible at the moment, or I find that hard to believe?
It's accessible, but it's not up to the newest
Current code,
standards.
Right.
And the auditor's office had asked us a few times because of the break room. The whole building can use the break room, but I think the auditor's office uses it a lot. So they have asked us for this to be put on our list. It is ADA accessible. It's just small, and I think would need to be,
The first floor is.
yeah.
Gotcha.
This
Thank
would be on the second. HVAC, obviously has been on our list for the last couple of years. These are original units, there's 4.
Floor that heat and cool the first floor units for all first floor. The outdoor coils are on the roof. So in doing this here, I'm bringing them off the roof, replacing the furnaces and the heat or in the air units in the basement, and bringing the coils down so we can work on them. You don't have to climb on the roof, a 20-foot straight up and down ladder carrying tools. So,
Is there an easy access to the roof?
no, it's on the second floor, and it's a straight up and down ladder, and it is about 20 foot to get to the roof. So that's very difficult when you're carrying tools and stuff.
Absolutely.
The idea, and we have actually 4 rooftop units up there that of course will stay. But these units can come down, they'll be put in the parking lot area next to the back door, basically. It won't eliminate any parking, but it'll get them down, get them in its own little corral area. That way when we have problems, we can work on them.
Understandable.
And that we may be able to use ARP money for that if we upgrade all the filtration and system in there, so that could be an ARP. But it has been on our list for a while. Cleaning ductwork, again, ARP money. We've talked about, we were gonna use the coronavirus relief fund money last year, but we could not get it done. The company just had a full schedule, was not able to get them done. We had quotes for the RTA, CSB, the annex. I think those were the only 3 we got.
Not to sidetrack you guys, just a quick question now that I have
Sure.
both of you in the same room. The gentleman that came up a few weeks ago talking about those air filtration units that he sells, did we make any headway on that or get any prices or
I
quotes?
looked into them, they're very expensive. We do have some pricing also very expensive on the ultraviolet for those systems. And I mean, if we decide to go that route, it's really something we need to talk about, because not only expensive to install, but also expensive to
Maintain. I was just curious because
Right.
these conversations kind of, when you
They're
talk about
very
air
good,
filtration.
don't get me wrong, they're very good.
Mhm.
But we just need to draw a line somewhere wherever we want to be with it.
I trust your expertise.
Okay, so the CSB, obviously, we're working on the facade and ADA accessibility on the building, the health department side. We did just get the first set of bid drawings and documents, I think earlier this week. John and I have not had a chance to look at them, so hopefully next couple of weeks we'll get that in front of you. Then the lighting's on there, update flooring. Again, the flooring's probably been in there since we bought it in 1998 when we bought the buildings and renovated. We've done rooms here and there where carpet's been either ripped, torn. So not a priority, but it is on our list. They have a rooftop unit. It's the only unit that hasn't been replaced yet.
Right.
Are we going with a carpet replacement or like a hard surface flooring?
The offices or meeting rooms have carpet. Anything out in the hallway, if we're gonna replace it, it would be hard flooring, which it's hard flooring now,
Good.
so.
The exterior marble and limestone needs to be sealed and or replaced. John had received a quote maybe 3 years ago for $40,000. That's the bottom section that goes all the way from the bank around to the front of the building.
It actually starts more at the bank than
Okay.
the CSB building, which is the prosecutor's office. Goes down Court Street, goes all the way down Court Street to the back of the building. It would be taking the old sandstone, which is washed away, salt, ruined, whatever, for how many years. It would take all that off, replace with a similar stone, same look and so forth, but resistant to the salt and
The
stuff
elements.
like that, right? Because it is all very ground level.
While we're on the prosecutor thing, I noticed where their sign that faces to the south on Court Street, looks like
Yeah.
somebody threw a rock through it or got busted. Do we have any plans for that?
Come down, just to bring it down when I have time, yeah.
Got it. Just
Yeah,
curious.
the front one we redid, and it looks very nice. We put a new sign up there with the county logo and prosecutor, and that turned out real nice, but on the Court Street side, I think that just needs to come down.
take it down. We might be able to resell that, at least the frame part, somebody
Sure.
could put a new plate in there, but
Yeah,
It's that box, yeah.
it's worth something.
okay.
Okay, and staying on prosecutor's office, since we remodeled the prosecutor's office, you know, we did not do the windows. It was, you know, kind of on John's priority list, but we were trying to be just budget conscious when we did the upgrades, because we were doing the prosecutor's office that year. I think we did regional planning, we did Board of Elections, regional planning paid for theirs, but we were doing a lot of buildings, and we just didn't do the windows, so that's kind of still on John's priority.
Court Street or Washington?
Well, there's a few on Washington, but mostly Court Street, lower and upper. The upper are the individual offices upstairs for the prosecutor. Of course, the lower ones are the old bank windows, and they're larger windows and very leaky. They leak air, cold air, warm air, everything.
Gotcha. Sorry, when it comes to property maintenance, I just like to
Yep.
wrap my head around it.
Yep.
Good questions. We had signs, but I think once we do the facade and ADA accessibility ramp, we'll work on signs probably when we do that. You know, and I think it's on the RTAs somewhere too, because I think the RTA still says regional planning's at the RTA. So, obviously we got signs that we want to get upgraded.
How are the windows in that building, just out of curiosity, because I've heard different things?
The RTA, we have on the northeast side of corner of the building where Paul Harris's office is, and then above that is Barb and payroll and so forth. Those, when we have a driving rain, those windows leak, the actual water.
Is it because of the architecture of the buildings? It's almost like a soup bowl.
Well, marshmallow, yeah. So it looks like a big marshmallow, you know, Ghostbusters. We've done a number of things. We've sealed the old planter boxes. We've just, we went up to the roof, tried to find where that, we just cannot find that, where it's leaking. Now 3 years ago, maybe 4, I spoke to a guy in California who works with that material. He said that material may very well, it's a concrete material, may very well be absorbing water.
Of course.
So, and now to seal it, well, okay, we haven't sealed it, we did clean it, it looks great. But another 20+ thousand to seal it, but we gotta make sure we have the right sealer. You know, that's gonna be clear and not stain it. If you look at the window boxes on the second floor, those are the ones we thought we were using a good sealer, and if you look at them now, they're yellow. So.
Water
you know,
always finds a way.
Yeah, well, the sealer was,
Seal it, right, but
right, so,
we got
it depends where we wanna go. You know, are we, do we wanna stain the material? I would avoid painting it, but staining it to soften the color, is that possible? It's not my decision, that's gonna be somebody smarter than me. But I think that's the possibility. If we do that, you know, we could stain it, get it to a brown tone or whatever, before we put some very, very good sealer on it.
Were there talks at any point about changing the facade to that building? And
We
I've heard different
talked about
rumblings,
it,
but
people.
would that help kind of maybe encapsulate it?
Right, we know that that building is a square steel building. We have pictures of it being built, okay? So that's square steel. My understanding is what you see as a mushroom or marshmallow, whatever you want to call it, is bolted on. That's bolted on to the square steel structure. So, total renovation, yeah, we threw $1 million on it. Take all the marshmallow off, just 3 sides. Actual backside of the parking lot's not bad. It's stucco style, and it can stay. but you could take all three sides off and do whatever you wanna do. You wanna block it, brick it, you know,
I almost wonder if you couldn't make it match the rest of the downtown or make it more cohesive.
you've got a square steel building, you can do anything you want with it. You can put anything on the outside, because if you build a new one, you would still have a square steel building.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can do anything you want.
Be curious to see some quotes on that, just to kind of maybe encapsulate it.
I've never asked anybody to spend the time or money on it, so, yeah, if we wanna go that route, we could.
And I think we
The other
were,
thought,
we were holding off on that too, because I don't think either one of you were here. Mike was here at the time. We do have an MOU with the city of Tiffin. You know, it is just an MOU, but we had conversations with the city of Tiffin, you know, and the county. Once we figured out where we were putting the Justice Center, we had talked about looking forward to the East Tower. So we put both options kind of on our list, because there's never been
If that happened, yeah, the
Right.
building might get raised. It's
Right,
possible,
so
that needs to be figured
we
out.
keep it on your radar.
That's good.
So,
yeah.
you know, knowing it needs done, it should be
Right.
done. Just finding out the best time to do that, whether we're gonna move forward with the project, keeping that building, or, you know, eliminating that building.
What's MOU again? I'm sorry.
Memorandum of understanding, just,
Gotcha.
the other option, another option would be, you could build an L-shaped building in the parking lot and go up 2 or 3 floors, and then tear the old one down, and that would be your parking lot or green space, or however that would work for you. So it's an option, it can be done.
I guess where I'm at, I mean, looking at that building, do we invest in it, keep putting money in it, fix it up? Do we sit tight, sell it? I mean, I know there's been talks about a parking garage. I mean, I guess I'd kind of like to take a hard look at that corner.
Yeah,
I just want to remind you, you have your building management plan to look at that took some of those things into consideration too. So if you can't find it, let me know and I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
We have it.
I'm taking a hard look at it. Do you keep putting money into it? Do you unload it? Do you sell it? Yeah, so.
We have, just so everybody's up to date. Tony, can I sneak in
Yeah,
here a
you're
second?
up, sure.
Just so everybody's up to date, we have a task force that has met a few times, talking about the possibility of renovating East Tower. Again, the word possibility is all in capitals. We've taken the auditor, the treasurer, the clerk, or the recorder through the building to talk about what space they needed. Andrew Kellnow has talked about using some of it as an archival center. And we also have spent a little bit of money with Gossman coming up with some preliminary drawings. At the very least, we will need to make it handicap accessible, and that would mean we need to add elevators to the south side of the building, the one that faces Calvert, a little bit of an addition there. So I don't know, how much further we're going to be able to go without spending some money on this deal if we want to go forward with it. But we have talked in terms of renovating that building and turning it into the RTA building, if you will, and saving an historical building. As Stacy talked about, the MOU said that once the Justice Center was up, we would look at some access and some renovation on Court Street, and also look at the East Tower as a possible site to reclaim and use as a county building.
I like the thought of that. If you look at the RTA building, you look at the East Tower, I mean, do you keep putting money in one thing, or do you shift the money over here? Do you make it a green space, a parking? I'd like to sit there and have some hard conversations about this in the future. Get the city involved, and let's. I think if we work together, we'll be better off.
Yeah, I think that if we can move it forward, it would truly be a transformational project, because you eliminate a building that doesn't really fit the architecture in Tiffin, and you would put back online a building that is part of our history.
I like that thought.
And that's the key, how much is the city willing to, you know, we gotta get the city involved.
Yeah,
Because I don't think this is all a county project by any
right,
stretch.
yeah, I think the memorandum or
But
letter of intent.
conceptually, I like it, but
Yeah.
finances need to work out.
I think
Mike, you're the
Curious to
president.
see.
Do you think we should have a meeting just to kind of brainstorm and just have an open dialogue? I mean, it doesn't need to be an uptight meeting, but just something where we can kind of talk to the city and just brainstorm, get ideas down. And
Sure.
what are your
Sure,
thoughts?
just,
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, you know, we probably are at the point where we could bring Craig Gossman in, you know, make sure the mayor was able to come at that point, because it all hinges on, you know, how much interest the city has on that corner
That's
where
fine.
the arcade building is, and whether or not we can generate enough funds. We've spoken with Senator Reineke, we've spoken with Representative Click. Both of those folks have toured that building, and both of them are looking for some money on the state level. We've had a conversation with Representative Jim Jordan's office, talking about a possible federal money that's available. I've talked to Stacy a bit about, you know, can any of the latest round of ARP money, or whatever the latest round is called again, relief plan money, be used. So there's just a lot of questions, and I think it probably would be appropriate in the very near future to at least have a work session deciding whether or not we want to pursue this any further. We've spent, I think, Stacy helped me out, we spent probably $7,000 or $8,000 on some initial drawings.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to pull up the actual amount.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the amount. You guys authorized us to spend a little money
I think 6 or
pursuing this and exploring it.
I mean, if the stars are lining up and we have all those officials kind of on our side, I mean, we need to explore it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's time, we should talk about it now. Okay, good work, Commissioner. Something we'll put on the agenda for first of the year, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay?
I like it.
Okay, now the museum. We've had, obviously, the rewiring of the building, lighting, additional AC and dehumidifier system, and then the HVAC unit in the Fort Ballroom has been giving us issues for a while. Here again, this is something that with some filtration system, may be able to use ARP money for that before ARP come about. You know, I know the foundation is working hard to get grants for that building. And that would be a huge relief off of them trying to find grants to do that. So I know John's started working on getting some initial quotes, you know, depending on whether it's over our threshold, whether we need to get an architect in here, engineer in here to get us some specs on that, or what we need to do, but John's been working on that. Most of the other things that we had on this driveway, the retaining wall, some carriage house repairs, and carpet, lighting. I think the foundation is working on some grants. They have, they're gonna update their list for me for that, but they've been working on a lot of grants and a lot of progress. They'll be coming in soon to give you guys an update.
Do we have a total on the cost of all those improvements?
No, it's, you know, you talk to an electrician, say, well, okay, we want to rewire the museum, but you can't, you know, solid brick for one thing, the walls are. So you can't put wire in the studs, because there are no studs. And you gotta be careful because it's a museum, it's an old house, we wanna keep it that way. So you're limited on where you're going and how you're gonna do it, and everybody just kinda goes, whoa. So I honestly, and I haven't even talked to Stacy about this, but I would be all for bringing someone in to tell us what to do with it. An engineer, architect, and I think it's more of the engineering end of it, because we're gonna have to run wiring somehow, some way, whether it's wire mold or whatever. Air conditioning, the same thing. Do we do all 3 floors under one thermostat, or do we break them off? Do we put 3 separate units in? The Fort Ballroom, that's already separate. That's a big old electric furnace that we've worked on year after year after year. And we have gas in the main house, so we can run gas one way or another. We can run gas off of that gas meter and get gas to the Fort Ballroom. Put a gas furnace in, let it still be just the Fort Ballroom. And, because that's where all the meetings are and this and that. And the main part of the house would be separate. So I really think that we're, like I say, I've had 2 electricians in there and a heating guy, and they're all just kind of, you know, can we do this kind of material?
It's like the movie Money Pit.
Yeah, you know, and that would be opening up a money pit for any contractor, so.
Did we get anywhere or have any further communications with some of those groups that have come in? It was before my time that they've approached me about doing a energy audit or an energy evaluation on all the county buildings. You can save money here, boop, 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 boop. Did we get anywhere with any of those companies?
We did a request for qualifications at the beginning of 2020. We received, I want to say 4 or 5 companies that submitted to do that for us, because we initially had a company come in just to look at the museum, and obviously what needs done at the museum with the additional AC, that there's no energy savings there. They would have to incorporate it in a full county-wide project that, you know, we invest in the museum, and then the savings throughout the other buildings would help pay for that.
I'd be curious to see those numbers, because I mean, if we're going to invest money in the jail, the prison, the museum, the RT, there's a lot of buildings that we have that are up in question. I'd like to have an expert's opinion, whoever that may be. But I mean, just looking at the buildings, do you invest more in them, or do you cut ties? Do you?
Well, the thing
You know.
with the museum and that type of company you're talking about, there's nothing in there to make energy efficient, okay? We don't have good wiring, we have old, it's a new boiler, but it's an old boiler system, okay? There's nothing there to seriously make energy efficient. You gotta have a better system if you're gonna mess with it, you know? If you're gonna turn it off at night, turn it on during the day, that's where you get your energy efficiency. Do we really want to do that in the museum? I don't know.
One of these companies came through my house, but when I first bought it, and I was paying double the heating bill. They came in and put in 90 bags of insulation. They found different areas where air was sneaking out or electric. I mean, I just wondered if it was worth researching or not. And I trust your expertise, but we got a lot of buildings in question.
I mean, we could have anybody and everybody take a look at it. That's not a problem, but I think our biggest problem is we don't have much to look at. We don't have a good electrical system. We don't have a really good heating system. We need to upgrade those, and then we wouldn't have such a problem.
Gotcha.
One quick comment, and let's move on. But, so the museum, if I heard you right, we need an engineer, may cost us some money.
My recommendation, yeah.
To do a thorough, because I think we all want to do something there. It's the humidity, it's a museum.
I agree.
And and realizing that anything in today's world, including that kind of a project, takes a lot of time. And so, I mean, I think that would be, you've already done everything else. You think you can, you're down to that. So my opinion is we should move forward with that kind of study. And then with regards to the 4 proposals, I was here, we had 4 proposals to basically look at all the county buildings. We basically mothballed that, we put it all in a pile, COVID hit, and everything else was just craziness. So whether we want to dust that off, I think our plan was to take the 4, maybe narrow it down to 2, bring a couple in, and then pick one, and then at least get get some number out of them. That, if that's what you're referring to, that's where we're at on it, and that's something we could do if all of us wanted to do that after the first of the year kind of thing.
We've got this ARP money, which is kind of rare, and I don't want to get into another courthouse situation. I want to make sure that we maintain our buildings. You either invest in them or you cut ties, but I want to take a hard look at that, and I don't want to let things slowly decline.
Well, our revenue, our sources of revenue are grants, this pot of ARP money. We have some general fund money, which we don't have. And then if we could do a savings, that could be another pot of money. You do this, you save that. That's kind of what we're up against. And when I'm looking at this list, we're talking, unless I'm missing something, there's $15 million worth of things on this list. So it's never gonna, to your point, you're always gonna keep coming in, John, right?
Yeah, right.
And so I like how you're doing it, Stace. You've highlighted things that are priorities, and then I think ARP does fit certain things pretty, if you're gonna clean ductwork, you're gonna do HVAC kind of thing. But yeah, we can keep going. So those are all good points. So I'm glad we have a property manager here, so.
I'm still learning.
Yeah, that's good.
So public safety building, we've had numerous conversations about the public safety building. Again, we've been kind of putting off some of the maintenance because we've been entertaining the idea of moving the public safety building off of the fairgrounds. So, obviously we have some stuff listed that have been some ongoing requests and or needs. But then again, another building that we've talked about relocating to another site.
Should we put a line on there and then put a number next to it?
What it may cost?
Just for example, you have the $1 million at RTA
Right.
and the $5 million at East Tower, and can we put a number there? or
Would
no?
it maybe consider the same amount of cost as what
What
you've
is
looked
the
at for?
I think $1 million is
Okay.
probably a number.
Yeah, we can throw that in there.
I think it's something we should keep looking at, because that project's not gonna go away.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure it's to the top of the list, but it should be on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Sheriff's Office, some of these things were put on the list with prior administration, so we need to sit down, I need to sit down with the sheriff. Obviously, we've seen results from the grant that GLCAP submitted for projects at the Sheriff's Office. It totaled almost $5 million. Went to, I think, basically 4 or 5 counties.
Coshocton.
Yeah, Coshocton was a big project, $10 million, and they were a smaller county, because usually this tends to go to the bigger counties and the little counties get, but no, Coshocton was one. They do still have, I think, I seen the press release that there's like 5 million left, but they were going to divide that into some projects, so not real confident that will be much in the line. So I don't have all of the projects that were listed in the grant on our list, obviously, yet. Some of the project we kind of initially told the sheriff we would do, like the cameras. We've done cameras throughout all of our buildings for security purposes. So that was one we told him at the beginning of the year, let's put it in a grant. It would be a match for this grant, but we knew we'd do it anyway. So that obviously was one on top of our priority. And you can see the rest on the lists. I just need to make sure with, Sheriff Stevens. I know he's already done some of these things, carpet throughout the facility. I know I think he's just about done with that. I assume with carpet, he's doing some painting. Blacktop, John, we did blacktop out there this year.
Ceiling, yeah.
Ceiling this year. So that can be kind of marked off done. Obviously, it will get on our rotation going forward.
Sorry, question.
Yeah.
What areas are they doing carpet and why?
In the jail,
Yeah.
I'm not actually part of that.
Right.
They handle that themselves, so I've never.
This is
done-
the administration side. So the one that we're doing right now, dispatch.
It's all carpet.
Yeah, dispatch.
Sheriff's office, spread those carpet tiles, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carpet needs replaced quite often, just holds dander and germs and stuff. I was
Yeah.
just curious why they were not doing a hard surface. Lasts longer and easier to clean, you can mop it. Just I'm kind of anti-carpet, but sorry.
Yeah, no, and I think most of it's done. All of the offices, I think the last big project was dispatch. We currently have dispatch out to our public safety building while they're putting the carpet in dispatch. So we're getting use out of our public safety building for our alternate 911 site. God bless everybody that has to do this. I think it's difficult. They don't have all of their stuff with them. So hats off to the deputy or the dispatch that has to go do that. So so youth center, we've slowly done upgrades on the locks. When we built the youth center, we've come to find out that the initial locks they put in, all the cells were discontinued at that time. So we've put like 10,000 in every year, and I think we're getting to the point we're pretty much done with replacing those. Am I saying that right?
I actually think we got about 22,000 left.
Left, okay.
That we still need to do to replace all the locks. We've gotten into repairing them. They're very hard to find parts for. McElhaney out of Toledo is our lock guy. He does work for the jail as well. Strong recommendation to just replace them, which is what we've been doing, to upgrade them. And we got about 22,000 left to do yet. And then the youth center will be done on that, so.
Just in replacing locks, 10,000.
Just the locks. The locks are, for one little cell, the locks are $2,200.
Do we reach out to I mean, are they the old-fashioned keys or a master key? Or
No.
I'm just curious because I need to tour the
No, but
place.
they're both electronic, that they can open and close from the command center. You
Gotcha.
can lock and unlock. Plus, they do have a key with them. They're quite an intricate system, and but yeah, we've been working on that the last couple of years, maybe even 3 years. As we have trouble, we just replace it. But if we want to wipe it clean, pull the Band-Aid off, it's about 22,000.
Gotcha.
So that 30's 22.
Yeah.
That is.
For the most part.
Yeah. Egg building, again, we've had some conversations about a new building in our buildings master plan. I think that was the recommendation out there. Again, we have some issues with the ag building, and I think with Gossman doing our plan, it definitely leads towards a new building and taking the old egg services building down. All of them in that building pay a lease payment, so we can always calculate what we get on payments towards what would go towards the new building.
I think, again, that's one too where I think Beth Dietz was gonna run and with that and get us just a guesstimate,
Right,
square footage.
Yep.
Take the envelope of the lot, so you and I, somebody would follow up with her.
yep,
Would you like me to, so I can put it with our
Yeah.
plan?
yep,
Yeah, and I think
They may
that's all
have
we're
that.
looking for now, and that was
Yeah.
square footage and a guesstimated budget price.
right.
Yeah. I think we should throw that in.
Just one side note, guys, to think about, and that is if we decide, we're talking about the possibility, as I hear, of 3 new buildings at some point. One would be the ag building. Well, we talked about the possibility of the youth center, and we talked about the RTA. While interest rates are as low as they are, and if we've got any, I don't know how much room we have to bond, Stacy, but as you talked about, the ag building probably generates enough money to support any bond payment we would have there. We ought to maybe have some serious conversation as part of Commissioner Schuff's suggestion about a work session to talk about how much it would take to do all these things on the wish list and how much we would have to pay from a bond standpoint, and if we've got any room to do that.
Okay.
You may want to also add that the FY 2022 Community Facilities Direct Loan and Grant Program from USDA is available at this time.
Yeah, I think GLCAP was mentioned that to us for the projects out to the jail, but that would be an interest rate.
It could have an interest rate and it may not qualify either, depending on your population and some service area questions, but it's worth exploring.
Sure.
And I can re-forward you info because I think I sent that info back on, sorry, my phone just went, nope, can't get it, on October 28th.
Yeah, one of the things to consider is that we do have some bonding obligation rolling off here. Stacy, how much do we have rolling off in the near future?
We have 2 payments left, so it's a total of $181,660.92 over the last 2 years, and it'll be paid off. So 23 will be our last payment.
So it's basically $90,000 a year.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, just keep that in mind that we have been paying that $90,000 out of cash flow, and that will go away. So you know, it's possible under this current structure that we have, as it relates to the debt, that we could put $90,000 a year on and not change the cash flow of the county.
Yeah. No, I like that. We'll expand that work session to include, you know, all those buildings. I like that. You also, in addition to interest rates, construction costs keep going crazy too, so, you know, if we're gonna do it, and I think we gotta take a hard look at it. So,
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
It's just that as it relates to, for example, the RTA situation in East Tower, you know, we now have, as I had mentioned, you know, a state senator and a state representative and a mayor, and part of our group that is pretty much in favor of at least looking at this going forward. I don't know that that's ever going to happen again in any near future, that everybody would be on board trying to move this thing forward.
I agree. When the stars line up, they line up.
Okay. Well, that's it. First here, we'll dig into it.
Okay. Engineer's garage, he didn't submit anything. He's pretty good at, you know, taking care of what needs to be done out there. He'll let us know if he has any projects, and I didn't get any from him yet. JFS, engineer, veteran services. Chiller is on John's top of the list. Again, ARP money could be used. You know, flooring again is just old and, you know, if possible being upgraded. I think that's just the engineer side. Job and Family has already done their side. So windows, I mean, just like the bank building here, the windows are kind of leaky. Engineer just kind of deals with it.
Kinda leaky.
Kind of leaky. Yep. Parking lot lighting upgrades. I think John's trying to do those as we go.
We're actually are, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll probably get those done.
Okay.
It'll be as we have time, but
Sure.
we have a bucket truck now to use, and so,
Where we didn't before, we were having to pay to have them put in.
right.
Let's see. So same furnaces, the storage unit that we're purchasing, John just put an estimate in there. We knew when we bought it that the heating and air conditioning will need to be looked at and probably replaced. So that's just on our list. Airport drainage project, obviously it's already in the works.
That's kind of important too, John, with humidity and.
Right, we
We're
had
gonna
that
put,
issue,
like records in there,
right,
so
we had
that's
that
to
issue
me,
at the old youth center.
I would
Yeah,
elevate
we-
that.
Spent a lot of time and aggravation taking care of mold and issues like that.
Yeah, we're not gonna just store, old filing cabinets in there, these are
Yeah.
records from,
These are hard documents. and,
yeah.
The furnace
So
that is in
elevate
there is a large commercial furnace. I'm proposing we put 2 large kind of residential furnaces in there, couple them together, run some ductwork, which will expand the heat and cooling. The building's nicely insulated. There's really not, I originally thought, take 10 grand to, redo the building a little bit, but not even so. They're throwing in we need a tow motor. They have an electric one there, they're throwing that in with the deal. I don't know if I even told you that.
Yeah, yep, you did.
Yeah, so they're giving us that one free, and, it's just a perfect situation right now. But we do need the heating and cooling.
Out of that whole building, how much of that space, percentage-wise, would you say that we're using for record retention?
Don't know yet. I know one area, which is clerk of courts, will take up one whole wall. Okay? The
Juvenile.
other wall, I'm working with Teresa, and that's what they're gonna use more. So they'll probably take the full half of that building for their records.
Okay.
And then we have stuff that, I need to put in there as well. We have attic stock from the Justice Center and different things. That's all gonna get tore down. That's all part of the old youth center. I keep that stuff out there. So I need places to put that as well. So we're, we'll have plenty of room, but we're gonna utilize quite a bit of it, yeah.
Out of curiosity, because this is before my time, over there at the courthouse area, what did that cost us for that temperature-controlled area and cameraed area where we have the internet servers and all that? Well, all the departments except for one pretty much have that over there. What was that? Is that
Oh, the data center?
the data center? Yeah.
Okay, the data room.
Yeah.
Is that worth having something that's just a temperature-controlled room where it's? I'm just asking.
It's more than that. It's, it's a concealed room, airtight, tested, certified, all that. In other words, our data equipment goes in there and is distributed through there. If there's ever a fire in there, that system in there it's not a fire extinguisher, okay? Because that would then ruin all your equipment. It sucks the air out, sucks the oxygen out of the room, puts fire out. So that's the kind of room it is. I don't know what we paid for it, quite honestly.
I was just curious. I didn't know if that was less money than replacing a bunch of boilers and then getting a humidifier and AC. I was just curious. I had
yeah.
no idea what we had wrapped up in that.
We can find out.
Yeah, I can get
This
that
is
for
gonna
you.
be really what we need in the building we just bought is,
Climate
no
control.
lower than X degrees and no hotter than X degrees.
Right,
With some
right.
humidity kind of
And
control.
putting a new system in there,
And,
because we have to, first of all. not
because there'll be
we want
people
to.
in and out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so, but.
yeah, we'll be able to
Good point.
control the heat and cool.
What I mean was that to build that room over there? Was it 10 grand? Would it be less than replacing all the
Oh,
boilers?
no,
for
you're
that?
talking a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Spent.
Scratch that.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good, yeah.
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 Good question.
Yeah, that was quite the,
So John, I mean, we'll keep moving, it's up to you
Yeah, go
guys,
ahead, go ahead.
but, you know, we're gonna take possession of that building in a month or two, and to everything you say, even to have somebody show up and do this, you know, it might be, so I think this is something you might wanna elevate and get it going, because I know you have plans to get moving in there.
well, that's the other thing.
So they're gonna be out, and then
Finding-
we're not gonna have this.
Finding equipment and
Yeah, all
finding
that,
contractors.
so you got lead time, so,
Right.
I'm sorry for all the questions. This is my first budget season with
This
the
is why we're
county.
having-
I'm
this is
used to the
great.
city, like I just,
that's why we're
not
having.
calling anybody out, just trying to
Yeah,
educate
we got
myself.
it. Yeah.
No, it's all good, Tyler.
And you gotta remember, we are moving, that, you know, one of the main reasons we did buy that, PPE storage, because right now, you know, John Spar's got a lot of stuff at his building, public safety building that, you know, it's taking up quite a bit of room, so a lot of our PPE storage is gonna go out to that building as
Yeah, so
well.
once, you said it, you know, once we get that building and start moving in, that's gonna open up all these other projects, because we have a place to centralize and put everything. So, I'm excited, it sounds like it's coming together, and it's kind of what you hoped and expected, it's just a,
Well, got the heating, cooling, got
Yeah.
one department settled, working on another one, actually
it's
going out,
good.
make measurements today, so.
Yeah. And juvenile probate court, they've got a lot of their books that are out there. They've got them set up and ready to go, and they've actually put in a request for ARP money to get all of those scans so they can be put online, which we did with CRF money. And they would most definitely like to get that done. And instead of moving those books, the company will take the books, they'll scan them, juvenile probate court will review, make sure the scans are what they want, and then the books won't come back. So that's one they've got a request in for the ARP money right now. So we definitely need to decide on that one, so they don't have to move the documents, because they've got them ready to go for the company to come and pick up. I think it was, I don't think I have that one, 39,000, I think. So,
Like it.
okay, moving forward, drainage obviously is moving along. That'll probably finish up 2022. Dog warden additional building, that's been on the schedule. She'll get that finished up next year.
Oh, she has some money. and-
Yes, that'll be,
Are we gonna do anything there?
she's got the money, she's
done a
been
nice job
saving.
of saving,
Yep,
and so, good.
yep.
Good.
John's got an engineer that's working with him and her. You know, we were hoping to have it done a little sooner, but contractors are just busy
Yeah.
and having trouble
Hard
getting
hard to
them
get
in.
them to even
We need some more
answer.
kids going to Sentinel.
Yeah. You know, we have data center, the, you know, big server that would take care of the entire county. You know, that obviously is on the ARP request. So that's just on the list.
What does a server fall under as far as category? I mean, it's not a capital improvement.
It's equipment. With, you know, with the ARP and with the CRF funding, you know, with all of the working at home and the securities, you know, it allows for that. So it's just a matter of whether, you know, obviously our IT recommended this, talked to all the elected officials, and, you know, we are having a couple of elected officials that are getting to that point. They're getting nervous about their servers, so they'd like us to move forward. We put all the money into the data center, fire suppression. It's got the generator. You know, the only thing we didn't buy was the actual big server itself. So,
Who does not have their server in the data center where it should be?
well, currently they're all running off their own servers. We weren't going to make, because some of them had just got servers, so we weren't going to obviously make them switch over when they just bought a new server. But we've had agreements with pretty much all elected officials that, hey, whenever you're ready to switch us over. I know the prosecutor's, you know, getting a little nervous about his server.
Yeah.
You know, it's time for a new server, so, you know, he's getting a little bit nervous. But all the other elected officials, most of the other elected officials are on board with getting everything in the data center on one server, you know, having it backed up, have it protected behind one, you got our deputy security over there and, you know,
Temperature controlled, cameras on it, safe.
yep.
All the above.
So we pay for the servers, correct?
Yeah, we would pay for the servers. Any of the non-general that we would cost allocate back would get charged, but obviously most of the departments are general fund, so it would cover. And then the support is all under our contract with Buckeye IT Services, so.
Okay, yeah, when those servers go down, I've seen it happen in other counties and read stories. Seems like a real nightmare when those things go down, so hopefully people can understand the value in having it in a safe space, so.
Yeah, and most of them
That's something
do.
we need to really
Very
push
very
for.
proactive, yeah.
Yeah, everybody in the Justice Center was on board, you know, prosecutor's office, even the new sheriff, you know, he said, I don't care where my server is, you can have it up there, out here, it's protected and, you know.
Which departments do not have their servers in the room?
Well,
I'm just curious.
Well, some don't, but some will once we
yeah,
build it.
Gotcha.
So I think it's an unfair question until we build, right,
till we get the big server,
So
Gotcha.
yep,
many don't, and most don't, but once we do this, they've agreed to move in, and there will be possibly one or two holdouts, but,
Gotcha. If we can avoid
We'll see. Yeah.
avoid an accident, let's try to do that.
right, that's a good point.
yeah, we just have one we've been working on for a while. Signs, that's just, you know, upgrading signs slowly over the years, that's been on there. The old youth center demolition and abatement, that's part of the match that we got for the Opportunity Park grant, was taking down the old youth center, but gotta get the documents out of it before we can do that. But we had those quotes, and then the last couple, Calvert parking lot has been,
Did we allocate money for that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yep.
And it was like 100,000, right?
yep,
So this is under that.
yes, yep,
So
yep, but
that's
it's just still on the
happening.
list.
It's just a matter of when you get it scheduled. Okay, good.
Yeah, we gotta get the
That's what I thought.
documents out of there
That's what I
first, so
thought.
it's a matter of getting the Riad's building, get some of the stuff out of there,
That
so,
includes incinerator, just get all that.
yep,
The old incinerator
Just get
gets
rid of
built.
it, yeah.
yeah,
Okay, it's all part of that.
yep.
Good.
And so that's the main ones, just updating the list we've had going on for, you know, at least the past 7 years. I'm gonna start putting some of the projects that were in this grant for the sheriff, put some of that in here, and then obviously sit down with the sheriff and, you know, we're definitely gonna have to make a priority list. Obviously, we just do not have the funds to complete a $5 million project of that magnitude.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. But you definitely go through it with the sheriff and see what his priorities are on that, and then,
Commissioner Kirschner's still with us, but I'll make a statement. I think,
Yeah,
okay, so we have, just I'll make a comment and then like you to rebuttal. So intentionally, we've taken a pause with the ARP money. And I think that's good, you know, just because you get it put in, you don't want to run out and start. So that's been good. I do feel that there's some projects on here that that it's just time to elevate, discuss, deal with, and then fund them, okay? And they're not all just county projects, meaning our office, but there's some other projects like this on your list.
yeah,
You know, and so the smaller ones, the ones that everybody feels need done right now, let's talk about them. If they can wait a year, 6 months, or a year, 2 years, because this is a fluid discussion, right?
right,
We do what Commissioner Kirchner says with their work session. I do think there's some grant opportunities. So I heard, Mike, I heard you say, and I heard Senator Reineke say, if it has to do with HVAC, ADA, those kind of things, we can help you. So it seems like maybe there's some money like that out there. So back to what we always say, shovel ready, and that's, and sometimes it's still a long wait. But some of these, if we can break them down into little projects, then maybe, you know, we can try to float a grant out there. But if it needs done now, we have the ARP money available.
Yep, as long as it
If
qualifies.
it qualifies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just to try to move some of this along, try to get a little priority list cleaned up. And even when we say that, it could be next summer till it gets done or whatever.
Right.
And John, I understand you can only manage so many projects. Even if we said, we're gonna do all these, you have, you know, limited resources too, so.
We'll get it done.
Now, back to you, Commissioner Kirschner, any summary on your end?
Well, just as a reminder to all of us, whenever there's any capital project money available, at least at the state level, the further along we are in the process, and by that I mean, you know, if we have drawings and if we have participation and we have commitments, the better chances we have of getting funded. The example has been the museum. We actually had estimates for completing those projects there, and that's why we got funded. And in all cases, it's best to be as prepared as we could possibly. Sometimes it feels like an exercise in futility, getting estimates and having plans on your desk. But as soon as somebody says there's some money available or some possible grant money, it makes life a lot easier. You can pull those files out and get them sent down without having to scramble. The other thing I'll say, I repeated what I said earlier, and that is, it appears as though we do have a group of folks right now who are ready and willing to do many of the improvements we'd like to get done. So now is the time, I think, to take advantage of their desire to help us.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, Mike.
I concur, and Stacy and John, I mean, I've grown to appreciate and understand the value of just what he said, and mainly, like we spent, let's say, $7,000 with Gossman Group, and to get us this far with the discussion of the RTA units. Some people would argue that that was a waste of money. I think that's money well spent. So these kind of things that require soft costs, maybe it is $5,000 or $10,000 to have an engineer come in and really put something together for the museum, but that would be, so we have to do it anyhow, and we're gonna do it, so I think that's good money spent. The worst that happens is, it lays there for 2-3 years and we have to do an update to it, but at least we've got, you know, that ready, that plan ready to go. So there might be some of these projects that we're not ready to just do, but that need that done to them.
I agree.
And if you could,
Plan your work your plan.
yeah, so I mean, I think, and then, you know, Commissioner Kirschner's point, the work session, we'll talk, you know, for sure, all the big new buildings and all of this, but I just want to make that statement, and I know you guys are working on it, but sometimes coming in, asking for a few bucks to do a plan, it makes sense. And I would not be against that, especially if it's on our priority list and we're gonna do it anyhow. It's helps us make a better decision.
Yeah, I would suggest that, when we do have the work session, I don't know if, Representative Click or Senator Reines would be able to make it, but it would be good, I think, to have someone from their office be there to understand and be able to relate back to them exactly what it is we're talking about.
Mike
So that
Diddle. Yeah, Mike Diddle,
Yeah.
Commissioner. Good idea.
Yeah.
Both, all good
Yeah,
ideas.
so that they're all part of it from the beginning.
I think that's a really big deal. Anything else?
Nope. I think that's
Thank you
enough
for
for
the
today.
Sorry to drag it out, I'm just trying to understand, so thank
I
you.
think it's great. That's why we have this.
I would much rather have the answer questions, Tyler, than not be fully informed, so just
Yeah.
keep asking.
I love it. Yeah, I think it's great. So thanks for, that's why we have these meetings, you know. So we will not meet next week,
Right.
and then the following week will be primarily budget discussions, right?
Yep.
We're gonna be down into the
Yeah, just to give you an update, I think I've already sent you the spreadsheet, but, you know, the Budget Commission set revenue at 19 million, and the first initial requests from departments are at 20.2. So obviously we'll have a lot of discussion.
Yeah,
Bring your machete.
Yeah.
well, and I guess that's our job, so we'll do it.
Yeah, you know that scissors that TCEP has?
Yeah, that great.
You
Hey,
might want to have that in your office, Stacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Jimmy, I'm putting the gavel up on the counter because I've always wanted to do this.
Yeah.
Sitting next to Commissioner Kirschner for,
Bring that camera in, let's get a close up.
Commissioner Thomas for 2 years,
You
yeah.
got less than 60 days and you're it, Tony.
Well, I don't know, I got the gavel out, I'm gonna get ready to adjourn the meeting, so we're kinda.
Tyler's gonna take a picture.
So with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Nice.